Yo, everybody, welcome back to the second episode of the Nerdy Brother podcast. Episodes every Friday and occasional videos, other days. Haven't really decided on that yet. And more. Still ideas coming up every single day. So you never know what you might hear about every episode. I just hit my desk, so that might be a little loud. But why don't you take us in? Or not take us in, but tell us what's packed up in this episode today.
All right, so this episode we got a few things for you. We're gonna start with breaking down our favorite to least favorite Disney Plus show, with She-Hulk. Just airing this week. About to get another episode on Thursday. I figured, why not rank these in order? And then we got a couple other things. We're gonna rank our best and worst. Superhero movies in general. I saw a Twitter post about it, and we can talk more about that. And got a few more things in the works, but we'll just go ahead. You ready to rank these Disney Marvel?
Yeah. Also, I got an asterisk to put on this episode. We're recording this on Tuesday, so by Friday when this comes out, we won't have seen the new She-Hulk episode, so that won't be talked about right now.
Oh, that's very true. I didn't even think about that. Honestly,
it's a little BT dubs.
I didn't even think about that. So yeah, we'll get right into it.
Had to shine that on it real quick.
All right, so I don't know why this is in the order that it is, but this was the only picture that I could actually get to download, because apparently Disney just has some fucking crazy like copyright stuff, because everything everyone that looked a lot better, I tried to save as, and it wouldn't let me save as. So
not surprised.
So yeah.
You want to go first?
No, I'll let you go.
Okay.
What were you about to say?
I was gonna say you've seen all of them technically now, so I haven't seen Loki.
I haven't seen. I haven't watched She-Hulk. I'll probably do that. Start the first episode today.
Okay, so I'm gonna go real quick. I'm just not gonna even place Loki because I haven't seen it, so we're just gonna set that to the side. I don't know. Should I go top, bottom, like first to last, or should I last to first? I think I'm gonna go last to first.
I was about to say I'm gonna do last to first, but that's just how my brain works.
My least favorite is easy. My least favorite, I'm gonna hit. What is he? 7? I would be ranking. Or should I count She-Hulk too, since I've only seen one episode?
No, I
okay.
No, I'm not including She-Hulk because we haven't seen a full season.
Yeah. Okay. So I got 6 shows since I'm putting Lee. Oh my gosh, I almost said Lee-Hulk, Loki, and She-Hulk to the side. But the bottom is still easy. I'm gonna put What If right at 6.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's easy. To put at 6. I don't know. I thought some of the episodes were weird. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it too much. I liked it, but I wasn't like, oh my gosh, my life would be so different if this never came out. Like, I wasn't freaking out over it. 5th, I probably should have thought about this. Like, I literally haven't even put any thought about
you
this.
knew we were going to talk about it, so.
Let's see, 5. Do you know your last one yet? Is yours easy as mine was?
I know mine. Yeah, I'm pretty confident on.
Here, since it'll probably like
mine
better this way. Do you just want to go like both of our 6, both of our 5th, or whatever?
Okay, that's fine. I'll be completely honest.
It's wherever you want.
And so mine, I loved every single one of these. They've all been amazing. So none of these is like hard feelings where I don't like it. I'd probably say my 7th. I'll do my 7th and 6th since you haven't seen Loki. My 7th is probably Miss Marvel. The last 2 episodes, like I told you earlier, like they fell off. That show I think was beautifully done. The music and the visuals in the first few episodes kind of got me hooked. Yeah. And then it just didn't hold me. And I appreciate them, I guess, like we talked about, last episode. I appreciate them changing her powers, and I understand why they had to do that.
Mhm.
Um, but her powers really cool. Uh, and then everyone else, I don't know. It fell off. The first 3 episodes had me like hooked, and then the last 3 episodes were not that good.
Yeah.
Um, and
I'll
then
give
I'd
my
say for my 6th, since I'll have 7, ooh, that you know what? That's actually a tough one. I'm gonna say WandaVision is 6 for me.
mm,
I loved WandaVision when it came out, but
mhm,
putting it on the scales of the rest of them, I
mhm.
I just don't. I do like that, um, like how they incorporated like Malcolm in the Middle and the Dick Van Dyke Show and stuff like that. And you
Yeah.
went through like the genres and like years and stuff.
Yeah.
That was really cool. But I'm looking at it as a whole for like the MCU.
Mhm.
WandaVision seemed like it was about to like that was going to be the reason that everything messed up, and that was the reason the
Mhm.
multiverse, everything got messed up. And then I don't know, I just feel like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness kind of ruined it almost,
Derailed it a lot.
because he was like she like he goes into like that where she's at or whatever, and he's like, oh, I don't care what happened.
Yeah.
I need your help about something completely different. And I'm
Yeah.
like, are we gonna go back to that? Because if we go back to that and all the stuff that she did and like the consequences that will occur because of the stuff she did in
Yeah.
West Point or West Point,
Yeah.
Westview, West Point. Sorry,
I think it
uh,
was, yeah, one of those.
it's one of them. But I think realistically, like if they come back and that's a bigger plot in the long run, that might
Mhm.
move it up. But for now, I'm gonna say that's my next one.
Gotcha. Yeah. I would like chime in, but I guess I'll save that for when I rank those two shows. All
Knock
right,
yourself over.
so I know, right? Chaotic over here.
You
Uh
never know what's gonna happen on this podcast.
True, true. My fifth one, I think my fifth one is gonna be WandaVision. Just because, yeah, like same with the stuff you said, like it was awesome when it came out, but then like looking back on it now, it's just like, did WandaVision just exist to like have some slight reasoning for like her to be a villain in one movie and then die in that movie? Like, I don't know, is that what just WandaVision stands for now? And just like as a whole of a show, it just, I mean, it's not anything like, life changing again. Um, but it was really good.
It could have been though, like
Yeah,
like the fact that like she had this whole town like made up an entire town and had these people like brainwashed into reenacting all of her stuff shows
yes,
a lot about her powers. And then
yeah,
I like I said, I just thought that it was going to have a lot more uh it was going to have bad consequences, and then we just kind of overlooked it.
yeah. I think it would have been really good, like, because that's like some serious stuff, like just brainwashing these people. Like, I just feel like that would have been a good like character study show, and like really like diving into almost in like if you really took it like in a serious way, because that's like some serious stuff. I mean, these people are like missing their families.
Yeah,
And like especially when Vision starts to like get upset and like start to notice things, I think
yeah,
that could have been like honestly, that could have been like a good like because that's creepy. I think that would have been a good like intro to like this like where you started seeing these horror elements that were in Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange too. I think it would have been cool if they touched on that. Like because like when Vision starts to see things glitch out, it does get a little creepy. So I think that would have been a cool like to put those undertones there. That way in Multiverse of Madness, like
also
it
agree.
seems even
And
more fit.
I haven't heard since that show. I also haven't heard one single thing about them bringing Great Vision into anything else.
Yes,
So
yes,
like I feel like almost every one of these shows, minus what Moon Knight and realistically, yeah, just Moon Knight. Like they've
yeah,
talked about bringing something from that show into other things. Obviously,
yeah,
you have you know, the new Captain America. He's going to have his own movie.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally
Uh,
Captain America. That's all you gotta
yeah,
say.
Loki introduced Kang, you know,
Mhm.
to the mainstream.
Yeah.
What if they've talked about, you know, bringing a few characters off of that, and on top of that, you know, they kind of adapted that into Multiverse of Madness.
Mhm.
Hawkeye will be back because his daughter, and you know, or not his daughter,
Kate Bishop.
yeah, Kate Bishop is going to be, you know, the new Hawkeye. Even Miss Marvel is, you know, going to be with Carol Danvers and oh man, I'm just drawing a
Monica
blank of
Rambeau.
yeah, Monica Rambeau. I'm just drawing a blank on everything. I actually don't know anything about comics or superheroes, so I just thought
We
you
just
know podcast
auto-generated
sounded
script.
fun. I
Yeah.
mean, but you know, Moon Knight's really I feel like Moon Knight and WandaVision are the only ones that they haven't talked about bringing something else.
Yeah.
And even what we talked about last week, you know, She-Hulk, you saying that Mark Ruffalo said that, you know, there won't be another Avengers without the She-Hulk. Like that to me brings her into other things.
Yeah.
So what exactly is, you know, are Wanda's kids going to come back? Is Gray Vision coming back? You
Yeah.
know, what are we doing with this storyline from here?
Yeah.
And that's why I ranked it so low.
Yeah. I feel that. And especially if we're talking about like them not being connected to like the future of the MC more, it's weirder for WandaVision because I remember Moon Knight, that was one of the things like before it was coming out, they were like kind of pushing that it wasn't just like, oh, a cameo here. Oh, 5 minutes later, they make this Iron Man reference. Like it's not
Yeah,
as MCU like content heavy as any of the
yeah,
other stuff.
I
So
agree
it's
with that.
weird that like WandaVision, which is like, I mean, when that was coming out, like the theories and stuff like that, and just like WandaVision is one of the most like important character, not WandaVision, Wanda is one
Yeah,
of the most important characters. And so it's just like a little like weirder for like that to be on the same level as Moon Knight in terms of like what did this show even mean in terms of
yeah,
like timeline.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Um, wait, you're on 5, right?
Yeah, my fifth was WandaVision.
Okay, so you went What If, then WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually probably going to put. I'll probably for my fifth. I will
Mm-hmm.
put. I'll put What If as my fifth. So ours right there interchangeable,
Yeah.
which is actually funny because the zombies episode of What If is, you know, we've talked about this, like, but that
Yeah.
was honestly one of my favorite episodes out of all of these shows.
Yeah.
But the rest of it was, I would say, a little lackluster. I mean, it was really cool. You know, it was cool to see Captain Carter and, you know, the different episodes. And I think that What If season 2 could be good. They could step
Yeah.
it up and make it amazing. But I'll agree with that. And, you know, you take out the zombies episode, and I agree with everything you said. I think that uh, we could have went without it.
Yeah. I do like the Star-Lord Black Panther episode. I did like that one a lot, but just in terms of like a whole show, yeah. Um, my fourth though, okay. I think
I
my
think I think my top 2 is going to kind of shock you.
hmm. Okay, okay. I think my top two might shock you. I think my one might shock you
What
more.
if they're the
The
exact
same
same one?
thing. uh, I think what are we at 4?
Yes. No. Yes.
I think I'm gonna throw Moon Knight up there at 4. Um, yeah, I liked the show. I didn't like. There was weird parts about it. The CGI was really like gross at some points in the editing, but
I mean,
sadly, that's like most
yeah, I
of
was
these
gonna say
shows
you're
now.
kind of taking that with everything that Marvel's putting out these
Yeah,
days.
sadly. But yeah, Moon Knight. It was just like okay. It was decent. It wasn't like it was good, and I liked watching it week to week. But now, like, of course, besides Miss Marvel, all the things we're ranking, we've kind of like got to sit with a lot. So now, like looking back on that more, I'm just kind of like, okay, like that was fun. That was cool. I'm not really just like taken aback by it. as much as I was just like watching it week by week though.
I agree with that. I agree
yeah.
with that. For 4, I'm personally going to put the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think it had a lot, of it had a lot to bring in and obviously set up and stuff. I personally didn't really like the villain in that.
Oh my gosh, the Flag Smashers or whatever.
Yeah,
that's my biggest drawback from that show.
So, I just, and that's the thing, is like I don't really have a lot to say about it, good or bad. Yeah. It was a good show. I really liked it. But I think, obviously the next 3 are just quite a bit better than it. But it did have a lot of good action, and I do like the characters of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Although I kind of, being a huge Iron Man fan, kind of hate Bucky Barnes, but until he's the White Wolf, I will probably just continue to hate him.
Yeah. Okay, 3.
Because I do like the White Wolf storyline, and I'm kind of mad that we still haven't got that, even though we got an end credit of Wakanda kids calling him the White Wolf.
I was gonna say, I remember there being something. Didn't that scene in Falcon and the Winter Soldier where like he's in like they're like almost outside on like the outskirts of like Wakanda or whatever, and he's like at that campfire with what are they? The Dora Milaje?
Yeah.
With one of those, and she just like broke like his words and stuff like that, where he was like free and not like the words didn't make him the Winter Soldier anymore. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I feel like she called him the White Wolf in that scene. I could be tripping because I haven't watched this.
I think she did.
Yeah,
I think they've mentioned it like 2, maybe 3 times.
Yeah.
One being the end credit scene, where he's like being rehabilitated, and but yeah, I don't know. I thought we were going to get more of him turning into the White Wolf and the Falcon turning into Captain America.
That would have been dope.
Or I guess realistically, you could also interpret it as who's going to be the next Captain America, because it had to be one of the two, if the Falcon didn't want to do it and they decided to give it to the Winter Soldier, which I think would have been very stupid. So I'm really glad they didn't.
Yeah. Man, my 3 has literally been changing a lot. I want to know your 3. I want your 3 to go first. You said mine is going to surprise you. 3? So I just want your number 3.
Oh, my number 3 is my top 3 is very, very close. I will say that. Like, these are very interchangeable.
Like, they're literally just switching right now. Over and over and over.
I'm gonna go with Hawkeye. That show was great. I thought
I love that show.
Kate Bishop is a great character. They portrayed her very, very well. I loved when Yelena came into it. I have a huge crush on her, but we'll talk about that on a different podcast.
The MC Crutches episode.
But yeah, that was a really the only, and I'll tell you my one letdown
with Hawkeye.
Is I thought Spider-Man was going to be in it.
I did too.
I thought that because they're
just like a little moment. I didn't think it was going to be anything crazy, but I was hoping.
Same. So whenever, because the last episode I think it was out to air the week that No Way Home aired.
Yeah, they lined up perfectly, and they were at that same spot.
I was about to say they were in the same like area, and whenever he is by himself, he's in his like crappy apartment and stuff. I guess spoiler alerts if you haven't seen No Way Home by now, what are you doing watching a nerdy podcast? True. But and whenever he goes swinging out and like starts,
it's like right above that one place.
It's right above Rockefeller Center, and I was I was like, he's gonna be in this.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was just my imagination, I guess, and like me reading into other people talking. So it could have. That didn't really deter me from not liking Hawkeye. The show was great. It Kingpin was in it, and that was absolutely cool to me because I love that whole Daredevil series,
Yeah.
and it was cool. That was like the first one to like come in. Like we hadn't
Yeah.
seen Matt Murdock in No Way Home or anything. Like that was the
Kingpin.
like first one was Kingpin.
Yeah.
And dude, he plays such a good Kingpin.
And it
He's such a good
was
villain.
yeah, her mom working
Yeah.
with Kingpin, so it was like
Yeah.
a double like
Yeah, that was a really cool. I kind of saw it happening, but then didn't all at the same time. Like I knew
think
she was
we
up to
watched that
something, but
episode together, didn't we?
yeah, we did.
Yeah, that was a good review.
I mean, you and I just like stare. We were like, "What?"
Oh, yeah. That what like I wasn't expecting the mom. I wasn't expecting like a lot of random stuff in that show. Sometimes I'm like not expecting stuff, and then I'll watch it back and I'll be like, bro, how dumb am I like not seeing this? So I don't know like how hidden it actually was. It could just be right in front.
That's true.
My 3 is something that starting this definitely could have been my 1, but just sitting here thinking, my 3 is going to be the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I love Falcon, and Sam Wilson is my favorite Captain America. So I like the end. This and Hawkeye are actually the only shows I've actually went back and like specifically rewatched like certain episodes.
That's fair.
Because I love the finale to Falcon and Winter Soldier when he finally has the suit and he is like killing it in that Captain America suit. And then at the end he gives that speech on the news and stuff like that, and it's just that episode is so good. And I just like the whole show. Yeah, I watched it like quite a while, so I can't really remember the nitpicky things I didn't like at the time, but yeah, that would be my 3, and I severely enjoyed it.
I think it's fair.
Yeah.
So wait, what do you have left?
What I have left is Miss Marvel and Hawkeye.
Okay, I did not assume. I did not pick that you would pick Miss Marvel that heavy.
Mm-hmm. I liked it.
So my 2 I've left are Loki and Moon Knight. I'm gonna say, my 2 is probably Moon Knight, and the reason that it's so like up there is because like ancient Egyptian and like that style of like history and like like myths and like legends and stuff like that. Always been fascinated by it. And that drew me into that show quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then whenever he's in the asylum, I was like, oh shit, this is like a mind fuck. Like,
yeah,
what's real, what's not? Like, is he making all this up?
Yeah,
and that's the thing is like in the in the comics and stuff, they're like different ones where like he's crazy and he's like it's all in his like I don't know. That was a really good show to me, and I like that it was like kind of by itself.
Yeah.
And also that's the same reason I like Shang-Chi as well. Like it wasn't like tied in a lot to anything else. What?
I was literally, whenever you're talking about Egyptian, like you like the show because you're so into it, like the Egyptian stuff and stuff like that. I was literally gonna be like whenever you hit a pause or whatever, I was gonna be like, that's one of the reasons I like Shang-Chi so much was because I'm into like that samurai, like Japanese culture, like stuff like that, and like martial arts and stuff like that so
Bruce
much.
Lee and like martial art movies growing up.
Yes.
And every fight scene just like
was just
Shang-Chi
like
just made me think of like my childhood and me watching like Bruce Lee and like any like
it was just so much like better than like a lot of the other like they put on a show with those fights and it like they knew what to do and they knew they had to do that and came in and killed it with Shang-Chi.
Yeah, they did.
I read like a lot of his comics before, so that was like
I hadn't read any.
That whole that's what because it was like such a low character.
I knew quite a bit about the 10 Rings, and but other than that, and that's the only reason I know that is because that was in that was part of the whole Iron Man
thing. And,
like the Mandarin and stuff. So like
Mhm.
whenever that came out, I did like a lot of reading, but I didn't like read any Shang-Chi comics.
Yeah.
Or I just kind of like read up online about it. So
Yeah. I went and read some of those, and like what made me want to do it more was that he wasn't like such a like A-list character, you know, in terms of popularity. So I was like, it would be cool to like just go back and see, which, you know, didn't really help any because since he's such like a low tier character, they just kind of like changed basically everything about him, but not everything, not really like that, but changed like a big arc of his story. But
that's fair.
gosh, Shang-Chi was so good. That's my favorite Marvel movies. All right, so your 2 was Moon Knight. My 2 is gonna be Miss Marvel is coming in hot at 2. This might just be like a like it is the most recent one to like come to fruition, like to finish. So it might just be like it's the hot thing, maybe, but I don't know. Just trying to like look at it as a whole thing. I liked it a lot more than all the other things I've named so far, and I don't know. I just like Spider-Man's my favorite. I like the teenage, like the young superheroes. So that was cool to see. I thought she was perfect as Miss Marvel, and I think the actor is just like
I
is
think
Miss Marvel, like
I think she's
literally.
really good,
Yeah,
and we talked about it last week. Like, Miss Marvel was great. I just
yeah,
think that it fell off in the last couple episodes and like lost me.
yes,
That character can, obviously redeem itself in the Marvels and stuff, but
yeah,
um, I just think it kind of was a letdown, man.
yeah. I'm not all praising it though because speaking of Moon Knight, the CGI in Miss Marvel and the green. Oh my gosh, there was a one scene. There was a green screen. I was like, bro, am I watching like iCarly? Like, it was so
Uh,
terrible, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this looks like a parody MCU scene. But
I know the guy that's in that, his powers, in my opinion, didn't look good at all. Like the colors,
the green
yeah, it was like green.
Kamran, yeah,
Yeah, it was like I can't remember. It was like green and purple or something like that, and it just did not look good at all.
yeah, that's another thing. The characters, I didn't Kamran, and I think it was his mom. Yeah, his
Yeah,
mom that was like one of the villains or whatever. They both were just kind of uh, like the most like as characters. It's like you boxed up a cardboard box and just like put a smiley face and some hair on it.
yeah.
Like they just really not like the actors didn't, but like they were just the characters were just like I
It
don't
was
know.
just crazy. I was about to say, yeah, it was just crazy too because like she's a bigger name.
Yeah,
Like she's been in quite a few things,
but I
but
just didn't think that could be because like I was watching it week to week, and then after I watched episode 4, I just kind of like for some like just you kind of stop hit pauses on
yeah,
shows randomly, but there was like a month where I just hadn't watched it before I'd watched 5 and 6, so that could be just me forgetting things about the characters, but I don't know. I
I mean, I
liked
watched it in 2 days. So.
yeah. I liked the like I loved her whole family. I liked Bruno. She was awesome. So like the tighter
Oh,
like the
her
characters
family
in the
was really
main
cool, and it was really fun to like they kind of like taught you, and they kind of like
yeah.
showed a lot into Muslim like
Hmm.
culture, which I thought was
Yeah.
really cool. And another reason, the same reason I liked Moon Knight a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think if Miss Marvel would have had a more solid ending,
Yeah.
it would have, you know,
Hmm.
been in it. It would have been
Higher.
higher. Yeah,
I like that Miss Marvel. I like that Bruno was always going to like their little Muslim things. I always thought that was
yeah,
like so cool. Like his relationship with the family was awesome. Like the tight circle of characters that they had was really good. It was just like the little squanders on the outside, just little.
yeah.
They weren't really hitting as much, but the main ones they were amazing, and the shots were amazing. Like you said, I can't remember if you said it before last episode when we were talking, or it was on last episode, but like the speech bubbles and like they walk and then on the wall is like what they're
Yeah,
saying or what they're thinking this
yeah.
that yeah. So you want my one to go first, or you want your first one to go first?
You can go because you don't really have a lot to say about my number one because you haven't seen it.
True. Okay, my number one is Hawkeye. I freaking love this show, and it just like it's the only besides like Miss Marvel, um, it's the only show that I really like finished and was like, okay, like I'm really happy with how that whole show came out. And I'm like an hour might pass and I'm like, okay, I'm still thinking about how like I really enjoyed that show or something like that. Like it had a lasting like effect on me. And Hawkeye was so good. I think Kate Bishop was like just like she is in the comics. I thought Hawkeye's whole story was awesome.
I agree. Like I said, I loved Hawkeye. I mean, the only
Yeah.
bad thing I said about Hawkeye was that I thought Peter Parker was going to be in it,
Yeah.
and no Spider-Man. So
Yeah. Kingpin was awesome. Uh I thought, and it wasn't, Hawkeye, honestly, even though it is Hawkeye, it wasn't just like cluttered with MCU stuff, like Hawkeye could be, since he doesn't know like practically every superhero in existence at the
yeah, I
time.
also the opening scene to that whenever Kate Bishop's like a little girl and
Yeah.
it's like sees him, falling off, and like I was like, dude, that's such a good tie-in, and like that was enough tie-in, but they didn't go overboard with the
Yeah,
tie.
exactly. Like Hawkeye is like the one of the shows where they could easily go overboard and like,
Oh yeah,
but it was like, oh, he did an Ant-Man arrow. Oh, he did this. And it was like sprinkled cleverly. And like the Ant-Man arrow was cool. Like you sprinkled it in there and it was actually cool. And it was actually like worth it being in there. And just the whole like, and it was so grounded, like them being in the apartments and stuff like that. And having to have the LARPers make their suits and stuff like that. Just like, it was so grounded and it was just so good. Like it was one of those, like, this is one of the things I liked about the Batman, which it's comparing the Batman to the Hawkeyes, obviously two completely different things, but it's just one of those where like the city they live in or the city that the show takes place in like is a character. Like that's how I feel like Spider-Man movies should feel like, because Spider-Man in New York, it's like he's like one of those superheroes that's like synonymous with the city, and the city is like a character in Spider-Man's story.
yeah, I'll give you that
And
one.
I think that needs to shine through, and it did in Hawkeye, and I
Yeah,
loved it.
yeah, no, I'll definitely agree with you on that one. Obviously, my number one is Loki.
Mm-hmm.
The show was just perfect. That was one of the last ones I think I watched, like week by week. Whenever a new episode came out, like I was there watching it.
Yeah, I did watch the first two episodes, so I'll give something. But
it was just so good. Tom Hiddleston as Loki is probably one of my favorite casts in all of Marvel Cinematic Universe. Owen Wilson as Morbius.
Morbius.
No, no, Morbius.
That's gonna be the thumbnail
Hey,
for this.
hey, it's just Jared Leto's Morbius with Owen Wilson's face put on it.
That would
I
be
love it.
awesome.
I absolutely love it. But yeah, and then Jonathan Majors as
Bro, I
as
love
Kang.
that.
I mean, I'm just trying to say stuff like that obviously doesn't ruin the show for you.
I've already like heard stuff, like basically a lot of the stuff about
Okay,
the
well
show.
then
Yeah,
then
I just like I
I'll just
don't
ruin it all for
even.
you. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, I'm not like I'll never watch that Loki show. I just like I really don't even know. I might watch it soon. I just don't. I just haven't watched it.
That ending with him is one of the greatest setups for just
Like the future of it.
for the future of
Yeah.
the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because like all right, so we kind of got we got a little vision of Thanos, but that really wasn't like a lot. Like you just saw him and he like turned and like went like
Yeah.
gave a little smirk or whatever, and like you're like, oh fuck, shit's about to get real. But
Yeah.
like this like brought him in and explained,
And he gave that whole like speech and everything.
yeah, who he is and who Kang is, because like it's the same character but not the same character.
Yeah.
And I just thought that it was like perfectly put together. Also, like the different variants of Loki, hilarious. The frog Loki, little kid Loki,
like the classic Loki.
oh yeah,
That
they're
awesome.
like, and that show just had me drawn and coming back and back and back and back. And it was just so good. I think that one, obviously knowing that like we're gonna get like the Kang Dynasty, and I think he's Kang the Conqueror is the main villain in Quantumania, right?
I don't know if he's the main. I know he's like one of the villains,
but
but I
he's like
don't.
in it, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna be main or kind of like overarching. Like he is the
Okay, true,
main, but
true,
you're
true.
getting more of this villain in the movie.
Fair,
If you know what I'm
fair.
trying to say.
Yeah, but either way, Loki was just so. Um, I love that character from the first Thor movie, and it was just fun. And they had like a couple little jokes in there. Do you know what they do with the Infinity Stones there?
Yeah, the paperweight.
Yeah,
When
and
they put him as a paperweight.
he's like, you have a drawer full of Infinity Stones. He's like, yeah, some people use them as paperweights around here, and I'm like,
Yeah, because
bro,
there's like no power going
yeah,
through him there.
I'm just like, dude, you just have like Infinity Stones just chilling.
That dude's gonna be the big bad of the next like phase after King. The worker at the
Oh
TVA who
yeah,
just
yeah,
decided
yeah.
he's gonna go in
And
and mess some
like
stuff up.
I've read a bunch of like fan theories and stuff, like how that whole like where they're at and stuff is within the quantum realm and stuff like that. And I don't know. I think that one had a lot of like fan theories around it, and it was just so perfectly well put together. And it was my favorite. It was the only one that like I loved all of them, but it was the only one that, like I said, had me like I was like telling my girlfriend, I was like, "Yay, I gotta watch the new Loki. It came out today," so I would watch it as soon as it was out.
I think that's a humongous part of why Hawkeye is my favorite. Like, I do think it's like as a show, just without experience, I do think it like that's what my list is. It's kind of like if I'm taking the experience out and just like as a show, what I think is the best. But like, well, that's actually not true at all. I do put experience into my rankings a lot, so I just blatantly lied right there. I don't know why I even just said that, but
I quit. I'm done. I'm not gonna be on a podcast with someone that's gonna lie to me.
Well, I just told a big fat one. Yeah,
right,
I do put experience.
My name's Zach. I am the host of the Nerdy Guy. We Drop Brothers.
The nerdy guy. That would be
It's
awesome.
just the Nerdy Guy.
But I do think that's a big part, and I don't like it. Doesn't like massively change it, but I do put it into effect whenever in effect when I'm talking about like my favorites. But Hawkeye is one of my favorites just because like I was catching it weekly and it was like every day I was like, okay, I gotta watch it. And Kinsey didn't watch it, so it wasn't like I have to wait for her. It was like I can watch it anytime. And I just remember like it was Christmas time when it came out, so I was like, had the snacks on deck. I had like a gingerbread like coffee thing for one of the episodes when they came out.
They got COVID like right around the time that it like
I think you did
first started or something. I can't remember. One of the shows, I can't remember which, but I binge watched one of the shows that because I had COVID.
Yeah, Hawkeye. That's my numero uno.
All right. Well, we've talked about our favorite movie, or I guess our least to most favorite Disney Plus shows. You and these sound effects. I don't really know what to do with you. But so we've sorry, my cat came in and
no, you're fine.
Started like rubbing it, hit the whole table. You know how big my cat is.
Yes.
But all right.
That's
so
Garfield.
The reason I came up with this, ranking our top to least to most favorite. I saw this tweet right here, and it says the original post says the worst superhero movies of all time, but you can only pick one from each row. Which made me think like, oh, what are some of my least favorite, my least favorite
superhero
movies. Sorry, my cat's just going crazy and keeps hitting my desk. And someone retweeted and said, no shot, people are actually saying Thor Love and Thunder is one of the worst superhero movies of all time. Worse than Captain Marvel, by the way.
In my opinion, I think Thor Love and Thunder was easily worse than Captain Marvel. That movie was horrendous, and
I thought
should have been burned.
I didn't think Captain Marvel is very, very good. But
I'm not a Captain Marvel praiser. I don't
and I'm not
really
and I'm not
like
and
it
I'm
that
and I'm
much.
not trying to get our podcast canceled on the second episode because there's so many women out there saying that like guys just can't like movies that
Yeah,
star women or like a women's
yeah,
lead, which is false because Black Widow is fantastic. I loved every bit of that movie.
yeah. I do like Black
Um,
Widow, but
and I can list off a bunch of women-led, especially like superhero movies that I think are really good.
yeah,
Um, but
I
yeah,
think
it got me thinking like, what are some of my worst, my least favorite superhero movies? And so I would like, which I didn't even read that it said pick one from each row on this.
mhm,
So I kind of want us to like go row by row and pick one. So
okay.
does that sound cool to you?
Yeah, just make sure you say each of them on the row. That way, if somebody's listening to it and
That's
not
very true.
seeing
That's
it,
very true. All right. So, sorry.
whoa.
That was the
I was
next
like,
slide. I
whoa,
was
what?
I was trying to like zoom in, but apparently I can't do that. But all right, so we'll start with the first row. We have Morbius, the Justice League, Thor, Love and Thunder.
That's the Dark World, I think. Yeah, Love and Thunder's down there on that fourth one, like all the way on
Is
the
it?
right. Yeah, because
Okay.
you see it's like
It's
super
oh yeah, yeah,
colorful.
yeah, true. Um Thor the Dark World, Wonder Woman 84, and Batman and Robin. So out of that row, what would you say is your
So is this one like, oh, if I had to watch one of these, I'm gonna pick this one? Or is it like if one of
I would
these had to be worse than all of them, it's
I
this
would
one?
say yeah, let's say which
What's
one's
worse than
worse
all of
than
them?
yeah.
I've heard the infamous Batman and Robin movie. That's one I've actually never seen though.
Dude,
So
I love that movie. Dude,
really?
I quote that movie. I wouldn't say on a weekly basis, but probably a monthly basis. I literally there's a part where Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze goes, what he like has this big fucking gun, this
uh
like ice gun. He goes, what killed the dinosaurs? He goes, the Ice Age, and then sprays like this fucking like ice gun. And bro, I say it all the time. I low key love that movie. I honestly do.
um yeah.
I
I've never
I
seen that one.
that's one of the very few that's on here that I'm like, oh man, why is that on there? Like it was shitty, but it was like,
It was you had a fun time watching it and you
yeah,
enjoyed it.
like I don't know, maybe I was just like like I was a kid whenever it came out. I don't remember
Mhm.
what year it came out, but I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I thought it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Out
I
of
wouldn't say amazing. I
these
wouldn't say amazing, but
out of the, you remember my Morbius rant I gave you when we were playing
yeah,
Apex?
97. So I was 6, by the way, whenever
Yeah,
that
so
movie
that
came
makes
out.
sense that you like it. That
Yeah.
makes complete sense. Um, Wonder Woman 84. Gosh, that one is just like
I would
bad
honestly,
movie.
I
Like
literally would probably pick that just because of how good the first one was versus
that one.
that one.
I mean, that
Like
one was
that one was absolutely terrible. And Wonder Woman is my favorite DC movie. Out of like them trying to do their like cinematic universe kind of thing.
yeah,
That was my favorite one out of all of them. At least like with Thor, the Dark World's right next to it.
yeah.
The first Thor is good because it's to me like it's part of the MCU, but at the same time like it was it was good. It wasn't great. It
It
wasn't
wasn't as good as the
horrible.
first Wonder Woman.
No, no, not at
Yeah.
all. The first Wonder Woman, uh, it was in my opinion simply amazing. Like Gal
Mhm.
Gadot, fucking perfect for the role. I just I liked 64 or 84, sorry.
Mhm.
I liked 84 up until about halfway, and then it just became super repetitive. And
Yes.
they were like, "You have to believe," and I like heard that a million times, and I'm like, "Oh my
Yes.
god, please just like
It's
stop!"
it's just
Like,
like a bad like movie because there's some points where like the sky and like the weather is just completely different from scene like from this scene to the scene, even though it's supposed to be in the same place at the same exact time. Like
yeah,
This one will be like, oh, it's about to be sunset. This one is like, oh, it's like 3, like in the afternoon, just like stuff like that. And
Yeah.
just, you want to know something really funny about my experience with Wonder Woman 84?
What?
I actually cried the first time I watched it because I was so emotionally moved by when, it's like at the very end, it's like one of the 10 minutes in the movie, she's actually Wonder Woman. She, it's, what's Steve Trevor? Is that her boyfriend's name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because that's what she wishes for her boyfriend to come back with that rock or whatever. And then at the end, whenever he like dies or whatever, or like, that, and then she like gives him up to be Wonder Woman and save the day, I cried over it. But I do have an explanation of why I cried. This was the first time I had COVID, and I was on like my 20th day without seeing a single human being, and I was just like out of my mind at this point. So it was like 2 a.m. because my sleep schedule was terrible, and I was like watching Wonder Woman 84. I think I watched it on my iPhone, and I was sitting there crying, watching Wonder Woman 84 on my iPhone. And that's just how insane I was.
I just want you to know, like, everything was just taken out of me.
Oh, I'm sure.
It took everything out of me not to laugh at you.
No, that's what I'm saying it for, is like, you need to laugh at it. Yeah, like,
that's ridiculous.
I'm not saying that it like, oh, that part was good. I'm saying like the movie sucks. Like, it's terrible. And I like watched it the first time. It was like, I wasn't like, oh, this movie is like the best thing ever. But like I did cry at that part.
I cried in the Rugrats movie right after you were born. I just want you to know that.
That's awesome.
Yep. I just want you to know that.
Very similar movies to Woman 84.
Woman 84. I mean, basically, damn near the same plot line, I guess. But
I think I'm gonna pick Morbius because that movie sucks. I actually bought it.
You talked me out of seeing that movie, so
I just can't believe the way it ended.
Yeah, you talked me out of seeing them. I was gonna go see it in theaters, and you talked me out of it. And for the next few weeks, I heard nothing but jokes about how Jared Leto was in the worst DC and the worst Marvel movie of all time.
I didn't even know that I like got you to not see it. That's so funny.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You go over the second row.
Okay, so we got Catwoman, I think. Oh, sorry, something popped up. I think that's Thomas Jane Punisher. I can't read those red letters, but it kind of looks like it says that. I don't know which Punisher that is, but because it's kind of blurry. But that's one of the Punisher movies. Green Lantern. I also can't tell if that's Ghost Rider 1 or 2. I think that's the second Ghost Rider.
Let me see if I can like pull it up, and I would assume that it's the second one. If you're putting the
first one's there at the bottom, next to Fantastic Four.
I didn't even see that. Yeah, so that Punisher is Warzone, and then
Warzone. Okay, that makes sense.
That Ghost Rider is Spirit of Vengeance.
That's what I thought. What about, is that Superman 3?
The Superman 3, yes.
Superman 3. Okay, so Superman 3, Ghost Rider 2, Green Lantern, Punisher, Warzone, and Halle Berry, Catwoman. I think I might go with Green Lantern on this one, just because it's the 100%. One I went 100%. Or I've watched the most recently, and gosh, that movie, like,
that absolutely horrible. First off, that's not the Green Lantern. I understand that there's like very different characters of different superheroes and stuff, but like you literally did a Green Lantern movie and didn't even pick the good Green Lantern. I don't understand it whatsoever.
Wait, which Green Lantern is in that movie? Is it not Hal Jordan?
I don't think so.
I think that's I'm about to look it up. But like usually with like these bad movies, I can like still watch it and be like, okay, I can like watch this and enjoy it just because it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I can like find stuff like that enjoyable, I guess, if that makes sense.
I think it is Hal Jordan, but
Yeah, Hal Jordan it was.
I think of I don't know. I personally think of, not to sound racist, but an African American playing
John
Green Lantern.
Stewart.
John Stewart is like, to me, the Green Lantern.
I always think Hal Jordan's the Green Lantern just because, like, growing up, it was just like if Green Lantern, if Green Lantern was in something, it was always like Hal Jordan. So that's just like
See,
what pops in
I
my head.
grew up like all the comics that I read that were the Green Lantern.
Had him in it.
Yeah.
That's
So
so
like
funny that it's like the opposite.
yeah. Like
I do want John Stewart to be the next. You know the Zack Snyder's Justice League that came out. I don't know if you ever watched it,
yeah,
but
yeah.
he had a plan to have John Stewart in that movie.
That's
There's
sick.
like pictures of it, and the dude looks just like John Stewart. Like it's a dope little picture.
That's
But
sick.
out of these, I'm gonna go with Green Lantern.
I'm gonna go with Green Lantern as well. I thought it was absolutely horrible, and I love Ryan Reynolds, but
I know it sucks because I actually think he could be like a decent little Hal Jordan, but that movie is just gross.
I mean, Superman 3 was pretty bad, but Green Lantern is definitely the worst out of those.
Yeah. All right, you want to do this next one?
Yes. Okay, so this next one we have Daredevil, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, Batman versus Superman, Elektra, and Thor: Love and Thunder.
Okay, for this one,
I think it's hilarious that they have Elektra and Daredevil in the same row.
in the same one, I know. I do not think Venom was honestly
I didn't think it was
crazy,
that
insanely bad. Yeah,
I didn't think it was that bad. Like, don't get me wrong, they could have done a lot better,
and a lot more with it. Yeah,
it wasn't that bad.
I hate that he ate Carnage. That makes me so sad that like Carnage won't be in a movie for like another 6-7 years, probably, if that.
Until the MCU brings
Yeah.
him up.
This one, I don't know. Batman versus Superman is a stinker, but I also don't think it hangs with some of the worst. It's not like Daredevil level.
I'm gonna say Elektra out of this one.
Elektra is a.
I don't really mind that Daredevil. The Venom, like I said, was pretty good. Batman versus Superman to me was very lackluster. I didn't like Ben Affleck as super Batman, really. And then I'll be completely honest, I haven't seen Love and Thunder yet, but I read that it comes on Disney Plus this week or next
September 8th, I think.
Oh, did they officially?
Yeah.
Yeah, because people were basically saying it was going to be this week because they've been on like a 43 to 45 day window.
Yeah. Yeah, Thor: Love and Thunder is disastrous. I hate that movie. I think I'm gonna go with Elektra too, just because that's one of them. Like, you don't even hear about that one, just because it's almost like, I don't know. You just like, you don't hear about Elektra as much as you hear about like, oh, remember that terrible Daredevil movie, or remember that terrible Green Lantern movie?
True.
Stuff like that. All right, let me sip this water before I do this last one.
Oh God,
my mouth is so dry. Okay. We got X-Men Origins Wolverine, the first Ghost Rider, Fantastic Four, the one that came out in 2014, I'm pretty sure, the worst one, Suicide Squad, and then Hulk. I can't remember which year that came out, but that was like early 2000s.
I was about to say that's the 2003 Hulk with Eric. That's the one with Eric Bana in it.
Yeah. This is just an extremely easy one for me. So I want to know again, is yours this easy? How easy is your answer on this one?
Not very easy, because I'll be completely honest. I think this is the only row that I kind of agree with every single one of them.
Yeah.
And I'll go down and tell you why I hate every single one of them. Actually, I take it back. Never mind. I do have one that I like in this. Can you guess which one it is?
Is it Ghost Rider?
Ghost Rider, dude. Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider is fucking fantastic.
You
I
know,
don't
it's
care, and that movie was just. I watched that movie so many times whenever I
I
was a
just
kid.
watched it yesterday while I was drawing. I put it on in the
The
background.
first one.
It's just yeah. Yeah. Because I've been hearing recently how like terrible it was. So I like was like, I'm gonna just turn it on. And I didn't like pay attention to it at all, I'm not gonna lie. But like when I was like, this isn't even like insanely bad. And I do hear that like the Ghost Rider. It's like I either hear that it's bad or I hear that it's like, okay, it's not as bad as people give it credit for.
It's actually funny because one of my favorite actors of all time,
Mm-hmm.
which people might make fun of it, but one of my favorite actors of all time is in two of these movies, and I absolutely love. Um, I love his characters in them.
Okay, I got to pee so bad, so I'm gonna give my first one or what I think is the worst one, and then I'm gonna go pee really quick, and then you can talk about that character or the characters real quick.
How are you gonna use the restroom in the middle of a podcast?
Dude, I'm sorry. I've been holding it since like we were 20 minutes in, and it's like,
oh my god.
okay, so this is so easy. Fantastic Four. That movie is terrible. It sucks. It should have never been released, and it should be deleted from the existence of history.
I agree with that.
Like it's terrible. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna give him.
Sorry.
All right. All right, since this guy doesn't know how to hold his bladder and just kind of gives up on a podcast midway through, which I don't know how many people are actually watching it 56 minutes in. Who knows? I'll give you mine. This Wolverine was straight ass. Ghost Rider was tight. Straight ass. Straight ass. Straight ass. I think my least favorite one out of all of them, probably honestly, probably I'll be completely honest, it's probably Origins Wolverine. Sam Elliott was my one of my favorite actors, by the way. He plays the caretaker in Ghost Rider and Thaddeus Ross in that version of the Hulk. But Wolverine was just an absolute mess, even though I love him so much. He's honestly one of my favorite characters. That cast, him playing that version of him, he's just gonna make all the noise in the world. Him playing that version of him was great, and yeah. So Sam Elliott, by the way, I just told the audience that's who one of my favorite actors of all time is.
Mm-hmm.
He was the caretaker in Ghost Rider, and he was also Thaddeus Ross in the Hulk.
Gotcha.
I think my least favorite movie out of all of these. I never watched all. I have yet to watch all of that Fantastic Four, but I still think Origin Wolverine is probably my least favorite out of all of them.
Oof. I haven't seen that one in so long.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
The only one I can remember is Fantastic Four.
There's so many,
or not the only one I can remember.
There were so many wrong things in most of the non-first three X-Men films that just kind of like makes me mad. Their version of Deadpool, absolutely trash.
Oh gosh.
Ruined Gambit for me. One of my favorite characters. So yeah, I'm gonna say Origins is my least favorite on this.
Yeah, Fantastic Four always sticks out because like
it was trash.
I saw it. I was
the first Fantastic 12? Four was decent, and then Silver Surfer was
definitely a decline.
Yeah, that big decline, and then they should have never made this one.
Dude,
Michael B. Jordan should never been the Human Torch. There's just so many things I could say bad about it.
Yeah,
but yeah. So now that
it's gross,
you've done drain the main vein in the middle of a podcast. I will go on to the next. So I saw this picture on Twitter and I saved it because I want to know your thoughts on it. Mm-hmm. And then I have two more things, and then we can, I guess, call it for the day. That'll be an episode of podcast.
Boop, boop.
episode of the podcast. The Venomverse.
You want my thoughts on the Venomverse?
I want your thoughts on this like poster.
On this poster,
Yeah.
there's a lot going on.
It's a lot going on, but it looks fucking sick.
It looks pretty crazy. Yeah.
It has me so hyped up. I know it's gonna be the biggest letdown ever. But it's so this poster looks so good. But God, I just know that they're gonna absolutely ruin my hopes for this entire thing.
Yeah. Imagine if they use that spider symbol. Like you see the one like all the way in the back or like at the top, I guess. If they use that on like the MCU symbiote, that would be dope.
That would be dope.
The MCU symbiote, I'm like, they got a spaz. I'm taking nothing less than amazing on that suit.
Yeah.
That one's got to go crazy.
That's very true. My next thing is a I just thought this was funny. It says, I want to see a comic about the CIA trying to murder Clark Kent and making it look like an accident. Not because they know he's Superman, but because he's a really good journalist. Make it a comedy because the CIA assassins can't figure out why their attempts keep failing. That would be really funny. That would be absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. For a comic, that's something like they would definitely make into a comic. That's like,
oh yeah,
stuff like that too.
I would read that in a heartbeat.
May see that one day.
And then the next two things are just some recent purchases that I made.
Are your little cards?
I didn't actually mean to send these, and I just realized that like it was in the email, and I was like,
yeah.
Oh well. I don't know why, but for some reason, I was like, I saw somebody post something about some Marvel cards, and I was like, oh, I wonder if they like sell like, you know, Marvel cards that are like, you know, graded and like how cheap they are. Yeah, they're pretty cheap. So I just went ahead.
That one's dope.
I know.
Just the whole panel.
PSA 9 too. Oh, on the back too, it has another panel.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then this is a 1991. The other one was a 1990. Oh. So yeah.
So you have a type.
Yeah.
I have a type in your art.
I have a type.
Heck yeah.
My ears were getting a little air out my ears a little bit. But yeah, I think it was a good episode. If I do say so myself, you know, I think we handled a lot of some of our favorite, you know, comic book shows and comic book superhero movies.
Yeah. We definitely got to do a best one of these days.
Yeah, dude, I could talk about best for the longest time though. That's gonna be a 6-hour stream, you know.
Maybe you can do like favorite bad ones.
Yeah.
Because I definitely got some of those.
I would like, honestly, I'd like to talk about like our favorite ones if we like can do like get like a few people watching it live and like have a discussion, because I think that would be really cool just to hear like everyone's favorites, because you know everyone's gonna have a different favorite.
It'd be cool to do like you said, have people actually engaged in like maybe like a live episode, and it was like the bad movies or bad superhero movies that I like, and I'd be like, okay, like come up here and convince me why I shouldn't like this terrible movie, or like
that's true,
change my mind about this movie. Or if you listening to this don't like, or you like a movie that nobody else likes and I don't like, then come up here and convince me why I should like it.
That's very true. Yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you know you're wherever you're listening to this, drop us a comment or do something, you know, let us know what some of your least favorite movies are, and what your favorite Disney Plus show is. I guess out of Marvel, but it could be anything realistically. Your favorite anything on Disney Plus, like what should I watch if I haven't watched it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's going to be it for today. And
yeah, brah.
Well, like I said, you know, every episode, or like you said, I guess, new episodes every Friday with occasional reviews and episodes. Other days of the week, you know, when you know emergency things happen or whatever it may be. But yeah,
check the Spotify and YouTube every couple of days. You might find a little Surprise.
Make sure you subscribe and have a good one. Peace.